Hey guys, I'm chilling here on my porch. It's a beautiful October afternoon, maybe like 64 degrees, sunny, no, not a fucking cloud in the sky. It's fucking beautiful out. A little chilly, but it's nice. And I wanted to talk to you about something today it's very important. I think it's very important. I mean, I know it's very important, especially if you're a musician, an independent artist in the music industry 2016. This is going to be something that you will be dealing with. It's something I'm dealing with. It's something that Grimshaw is dealing with. And it's quite an interesting turn of events. Now, as musicians, I know that you know that none of us want to be pigeonholed into any sort of category or genre. At least most of us don't. Because, it's sort of like the same thing with actors and actresses. They don't want to be pigeonholed into the same type of roles over and over again. Like the fucking pretty boy, who's constantly cast in the role of the pretty boy, or the, sexy girl next door, and every role is you're a sexy girl next door, or maybe the sort of cute friend of hers, or, and you're just in the same motherfucking movies over and over again. And as musicians, it's sort of the same idea. We don't want to be labeled as a country musician, when they just have elements of country influence in your music, and all of a sudden you have to fulfill these expectations within that genre of music that people think that you're in, or that you've labeled yourself to be in. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And I'm not. There's a lot of cars passing right now. It's sort of that point of the day where kids are getting out of school, so there's a lot of school buses and shit, and parents driving here and there, whatever. So excuse the noise and the fucking birds chirping. But yeah, what the fuck was I talking about? We don't want to be pigeonholed into any sort of genre or any expectations. We just want to live and let live, and make our art and music based off of our lives, pretty much. And that's not really something that can be categorized, or, raw human emotions is not really something you could place a genre on or categorize. But in terms of the business and marketing aspect of things, you actually do have to categorize and place a label on what it is that you do, so that it's more accessible to people looking for that sort of thing, and it doesn't, labeling what you do has nothing to do with your musical integrity. It doesn't mean you have to compromise your musical integrity. It doesn't mean that you have to compromise yourself and your spirit and your human being. It doesn't mean any of that. It's just purely from a marketing standpoint. People need to know what it is that you are. And it definitely helps when casting out a net. You need to cast out the right net. So if you have a giant umbrella term like rock and roll, which has many influences within it. Rock and roll came from gospel, rhythm and blues, country, western, rockabilly, back in the 50s. These are all the things that rock and roll was created out of. So these influences are inside rock and roll. So rock and roll is the umbrella term. So if you are casting out a wide net like we used to be doing, just casting out rock and roll, we're a rock and roll band out into the world, the net is too wide, and you're going to be bringing in or showing people, you're showing the wrong people. If you cast out a giant net with an umbrella term like rock and roll or country and western or whatever the fuck it is your umbrella term is, you, the musicians and the artists out there, I'm talking to you, the net is too wide, and you're gonna touch a lot of people, but it's gonna be a lot of the wrong people. Instead of throwing out the correct net, the correct size net, a smaller net in the right direction to the right target audience, and they all love you. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather reach 1,000 people and only have 4 of those people be the right target audience, or would you rather reach 80 people and all 80 of them are the target audience? And these are just small numbers. I'm throwing out small numbers. I don't want your fucking brain to explode. I don't want my brain to fucking explode. But which sounds better? The smaller net, obviously. And that's really how marketing is done. And this day and age with social media, and there's so much information out there about everyone because of Facebook and Twitter and all this shit. Everything is out there for us to figure out who our target audience is. And it's an incredible time to be alive in business, in the music industry, as an artist. It's crazy. We have so much at our disposal, and all the tools are there. Like, we could take over the fucking world. Honestly. We just have to utilize these tools correctly. And that's why I'm talking to you guys, because I'm learning as I go, and this is something that is very important. And I'm sort of jumping the gun a little bit, so let me backtrack a little bit. Give you a story on Grimshaw. We, as Grimshaw, and me, of course, all of us, have considered ourselves to be a completely limitless band. If that makes sense. No limitations in terms of identifying a musical genre, a category, our style, our influences. No limits. We don't want any labels. We don't like to put preconceptions in people's minds. And I think that's why we've struggled with this for so long. For years, when people ask me, what kind of music do I play? What kind of music does Grimshaw play? I would stumble. I would stumble because I didn't know what the fuck to tell them. And it's not because I don't know what we sound like, but it's because I don't want to place a label on us. And at the same time, we take from everywhere. Almost practically every form of music, every Western form of music, we have taken from. So there's so much going on in our music that I feel as if putting any label on it was just limiting what it is that we did, or didn't offer the right explanation. So for years, when people ask that question, I would stumble. But now, as I'm approaching things differently on a marketing standpoint and business standpoint, I'm realizing that you really do need to have an answer for those people with those questions. And when it comes to advertising and promoting, you need to know what it is that you sound like and that you play. And it's not that we don't know what we sound like. We know. But to put a word to it, or any kind of conjunction of words to it, is just is difficult. It's fucking difficult, because there's a lot going on there. You have to understand our background. You have to understand my background. And I'm going to be talking more from a personal standpoint here, because Dave's not here, my brother is not here at the moment. So on a personal standpoint, this is basically what I see in Grimshaw and what's in me. I never felt the need to analyze our music that much, because it comes from such an honest place. It comes from my heart. I live these songs. I've lived these songs for real. It's such a genuine place that I don't want to put a label to it. I just don't, and that's my artistic side of my brain working right there. But my business side, the left side of my brain, knows that I have to put a label to it. So every day in my life, these two I don't even know, personalities, or these two different notions that I know are 100% true in my brain, are at war with each other when they should be working together. And now, these last few weeks, I've been trying to get them to work together even more, so that I could find what it is that we do. I could define it and put a name to it. And it's been one of the most difficult experiences of my life, just trying to put a name to our music. And that sounds like a stupid problem to have, and in a way it is a stupid problem to have, but it's very necessary in terms of succeeding and progressing in your career. And I just started to realize this. It's hard, and I'm sure you musicians out there are going to go through this if you're not going through it right now, and hopefully this video will help you identify what it is that you do. It's called your micro niche, And I'm trying to figure it out for Grimshaw. I have a whole fucking notebook dedicated to trying to figure out these things that I never really thought about before. Because I also signed up for some business workshops and classes with Leah McHenry. You should look her up. She does Celtic metal, and she offers a lot of business classes because a, a she's a mother of 5 or 6 or whatever, a stay-at-home mom who's making 6 figures off Celtic metal, and she shows you what she is, her pitfalls that she did wrong for years, and what we should be doing, and it's just great shit. So I would sign up for it. So I have a bunch of those workshops that I have to get through, and I have my notebook dedicated to finding out our micro niche and all those workshops and whatnot. And it's windy as fuck. It got my hair doing all sorts of crazy shit. And actually, I have it right here with me. I just started it. It's a new fucking notebook. I have notebooks upon notebooks that I write in. I sort of fetish over, in a way, because I feel like there's just too much to be aware of in life that you can't let it slip by, and there's too much to be aware of in the music industry and just in arts and everything, and there's just so much going on that I feel like you're cheating yourself if you don't write about it, or at least I do. I tend to not absorb things as well unless I write it. So that's why I have countless numbers of notebooks that I write in every day, that from just for myself and for Grimshaw and for a lot of things. But yeah, I might have gotten a little bit off track here. But what Grimshaw's been doing these last couple of weeks, and what I've been doing for Grimshaw, yeah, I mean, we're pretty much one and the same, is trying to identify our micro niche so that our advertising and our promotion and our marketing is geared towards the right people, and we could get more engagement, and we could get more, we just need we need more of the right people to identify with us. Because we're throwing out too much of a wide net, and I'm not seeing the results that I want in the pace that I want. We're getting results, but it could be better. It could be better, and this is one of the first steps we need to take in order to making it better. And it's going to be a step that you are going to have to take too if you're a musician watching this, or an artist, or whatever it is that you do. And it's been so difficult for us because we blend so much music, where there's so much going on there. Like, it's real easy for us to use a giant umbrella term like rock and roll, because rock and roll is filled up with so many other influences as well. So speaking on a personal level, I started out with classical guitar, whether I realized it or not. I had Esteban DVDs where he taught you classical arrangements and some folky arrangements, but it was mostly classical arrangements, and I didn't even realize that they were classical until maybe like a year ago, where I was like, holy shit, I started off with classical guitar because classical guitar is crazy. So there's some classical influence in Grimshaw. Anyone that has heard any of our songs or has seen us live knows that we are incredibly jazzy. We have a heavy jazz influence, and that comes a lot from me. I just love jazz, and there's country there, there's folk rock, with the whole Jeff Buckley thing, and there's a lot of soul there, there's funk, and that comes a lot, the whole soul and the jazz and the country, it comes a lot from Ray Charles. I love Ray Charles, and Stevie Wonder, he's a great soul guy. Stevie Wonder's amazing. And metal, we get really aggressive at times. We can be really heavy. We all have an aggressive nature, so it comes out in our music, it comes out in our songs. So there's some heavy metal there, and which links to hard rock. We could be considered hard rock in a lot of ways. A lot of our shit is hard and dark, really dark, and the darkness comes from that aggressive nature, but it also comes from our love of the Seattle scene in the 90s. We love Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, things like that. We're indirectly influenced by punk. I don't like punk rock at all, but a lot of the bands that I love have been influenced by punk rock, like Pearl Jam or Danko Jones. So I like to think that we're indirectly influenced by punk rock, but I don't like punk rock really at all. There's a lot going on there. Blues, we're heavily blues influenced, and anything that is heavily blues influenced, you know what I'm saying? Like, because jazz is sort of derivative from the blues, and so is funk, and all these things, really. Rock and roll in general is derivative of the blues. And, man, there's just so much going on all the time. There's even hip-hop in there, you know. I used to be a break dancer, so hip-hop is deeply ingrained in my psyche. For real, the hip hop community is deeply ingrained in my psyche, and in Dave's, and my brother just started getting into hip hop too with NWA. So whether we realize it or not, I think subconsciously there's a lot of hip hop going in there. I mean, hip hop pretty much blended everything. It didn't create anything. It reinvented everything. You know, because hip hop came out of people playing old records, old soul records, funk records, jazz records, and then using certain parts of that, sampling those records, and then rapping over it. For real, or breakdancing over it, whatever. They would just take the breakdown of certain records, old records, and then that was hip-hop. So they reinvented everything. Hip-hop is very interesting like that. Hip-hop is a great musical form, great. It's really just like poetry. Rap is like poetry. It's great, and I think it gets a lot of flack for no reason. I think some people just don't understand it, even though it's extremely popular nowadays, rightfully so. Yeah, man, there's just a lot going on in Grimshaw that it's just real easy to throw the umbrella term rock and roll out there, but we're so much more than that. I don't know what it is. And we're dark and moody, and there's a lot of angst there. It's just real raw human emotions. And this is why I never really wanted to put an exact label on it, because it's like putting a label on myself. You know, these are my songs. A lot of them are my songs. You know, my brother writes songs as well. But I'm just talking from a personal standpoint. It just felt weird to analyze myself and put a label, but I realized that I have to do it now, and I've been doing it, and it's definitely difficult. It's very interesting, though, and I do enjoy it, because I feel like I'm progressing, and I know this is the right thing to do, as weird as it is. But it's very interesting, and I know you, as a musician, if you're watching this, you're going to be going through the same thing, too, if you get to the point that we are, and you progress enough. And hopefully you watch this video, and this brings some insight as what you should be doing, and what you want to be doing. Wow, there's a lot of cars out right now. That's not usual in Bergen Beach. Yeah, and you know, let me know if you think this is relevant to your life, relevant to the music industry. I know it's completely relevant to the music industry, but I want to know what you think. You know, let me know. Leave a comment below, for real. And also, you know, hit the like button if you liked this video and you thought it was helpful or amusing in any way, and help us grow this channel. Because it's not about me. It's not about Grimshaw per se. It's about us as people, as musicians, in this world in 2016, this crazy, chaotic world that we live in. So, yeah, if you help us grow this channel, you're also helping yourself. And I just want to build a community of people, of like-minded people, and that want to help each other, and I want to put the best content out there with the most value. And I think I'm doing that, and I think I'm getting better at it each time I do it, but I need your help. So hit the like button, and leave a comment if you think that this is relevant to your life, and if you're going through it, and what is your micro niche, and how do you feel about labeling, and how do you feel about the new music industry, and being an independent artist in it. Just anything. Say anything, please. And we will respond, because we want to build that community like that. But that's really what we've been doing, and I just wanted to let you guys in on what it is that we've been doing, because we haven't posted a vlog in a while. So this is my entrance back into it. Oh, and one more thing. This weekend, before I let you guys go, this weekend, I'm going up to Salem with some friends. We rented a van, and we're gonna drive up to Boston and then drive to Salem. And so that's what the next day in the life vlog of me and Grimshaw is gonna be. It's gonna be me hanging out with some friends in Salem. I'm gonna bring an instrument, maybe get some songs down, and put some clips of me writing songs or singing songs or playing songs or whatever in there. But it's mostly gonna be, you know, me hanging out in Salem doing crazy shit. You know how I get when I turn it up, turned up, son. So it's gonna be a good time. So watch out for that. So the next vlog is gonna be a day in the life in Salem. I've never been there, so it's gonna be a good time. And I really enjoy the friends that I go away with. They're really cool people. They're deep, and you can have awesome conversations with them, but you can also get drunk and talk about girls. So it's a good time. So that's keep an eye out for that. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got to say. So thanks for listening to this random ass ramble about our problems. It's not really a problem, but it's just challenging. It's a little challenging. It's a little hurdle. And then again, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't a little challenging. And I'm enjoying myself. So hey man, just thank you. Thank you for watching this. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next week with our next day in the life vlog.